All right, I think it's live. I'm trying something different. I stuck a chat window up there so you guys can see each other chat. Now, if anyone has some proper CSS to make that work better, let me know. All the CSS I can find doesn't work right. I don't, and I'm sure we could just write our own, but I'd rather cheat and have use somebody else's fancy CSS. I don't know why all the ones, I think YouTube changed some of the elements, therefore, very cool. I'm just shutting down things that make noise, but yeah, there's ways you can do this better with Streamlabs. So I'm slowly making it better. Now, what Streamlabs wants you to do is something I don't agree with. Actually, do I have audio? Is the audio working? Yes, Streamlabs has an integration for chat. But, the problem I have with Streamlabs, and actually I should say my problems with YouTube, they don't offer granular API access. So when you grant Streamlabs access, they get read, write, delete access to the entirety of my YouTube channel. So I feel slightly uncomfortable. It's not that I don't think Streamlabs themselves is reputable, but anyone who would to take over Streamlabs would then gain access to said API key and be able to purge your YouTube channel, for example. And I think that's a weird problem, so to speak. Like it just feels like that would be bad. And even though I have it all backed up, but it would be annoying for sure. So I was using Streamlabs for at least a year, maybe two. However, 2019 is when I got this, and that's when I started using Streamlabs. I still use OBS when I record in my office. This is my studio, but I have an office as well. People ask why there's two different studios. So, oh, there's always a delay. That's actually, I see the chat. You guys are starting to realize how much of a delay there is from the time you ask the questions to the time they show up over there. So, yes, that's normal. That's just how that works. I don't think there's anything I can do to fix that. That's just the delay. I have it. Matter of fact, this is how I see it. And I have it set to, as you can see down here, ultra low latency. And it still has this delay by which these things happen. So that is the thing. Yeah, 13 seconds. That's even more. Yeah, that's shocking. Anyways, web hosting issues. Should we start there? Because that's been fun. Oh yeah, giving the stream is public. It seems strange to give that much access. So, yeah, there's all kinds of. It's interesting. Handing over Streamlabs. Now, Zoom does the same thing. If I wanted to use Zoom, and I've done this with my interviews, one of the reasons we don't do Zoom natively directly to YouTube is because if you do that, Zoom wants the same thing. It's really a problem. There's not a granular way to allow permissive access to your YouTube. It's not like they can only do this. It doesn't seem to have a granular option. It's like, hey, you want to hand over YouTube access. Here's the things they get. They can delete everything on your channel. They can edit all the comments on your channel. It makes a long list, and the list is always the same no matter which person. So it doesn't seem to have a granular option. They need kind of like they do in Android, where you can selectively say only these things. Now, they do have a read-only API, which I'm surprised they don't make use of, but it's probably because they want to have Streamlabs have more control. We use the read-only API, which now segues back over to the problems we have with the website, because we were using the read-only API key to pull in all of our videos, and that's what broke the website in a weird way. Yeah, it's in ultra-low latency mode, and it's still, there's a longer delay because it's pulling a web page and queuing it. I'm actually pulling a web page as opposed to as I'm pulling it as a public web page live feed, not an integration into Streamlabs having API access to my account. Hence the delay. Oh, let's see. What else do we have here? All right. So, do I think ZFS Truenas is on par with NetApp? I say yes. Someone will argue with me and tell me why it's not. That's okay. I say yes because you asked my opinion, not the person who's going to tell me it's not professional or whatever it is they're going to say. But back to some of the YouTube stuff. The YouTube stuff that broke our website. So what happens on lawrencesystems.com, we'll switch to it so you guys can see it. So every video gets created. So here's a video I did the other day, and everything gets created as a blog post. So you click here, and now there's the blog post embedded. Now this happens automatically. I do not do this. So someone asked me why I don't statically generate my website. And I mean, I could, and I could probably find some script locally that does it, that turns it into, it would be a lot of work. I don't have the time to write that. I'm not saying it's impossible to write. It's more about, I don't have the time to write it. So instead we go through and build it so it does automation. So every video we do, live stream or otherwise, ends up right here. But what happened was, and we still haven't fixed this yet. I bet Kyle hasn't fixed it. I didn't look. Yep, Kyle hasn't fixed it. So I say we, I really mean Kyle. He's over there making a salad on the other side of the TV. Oh, the website's not done yet till we turned them. There's still thumbnails that are broken. We still have broken thumbnails. So anyways, we still have broken thumbnails on the site. And one day we're going to fix it so it doesn't have broken thumbnails. But what happened was it kept getting stuck. When it kept getting stuck, that caused the WordPress to get stuck. And my hosting company, A2 Hosting, that hosts my website, they don't like stuck processes. They look at it as a problem. So that turned into a big mess of them just halting my website. And they're, like all companies, they were taking really, really long times to reply. It was super annoying waiting for them to reply, opening tickets. And then their suggestion was to buy a faster server because they seen the problem and some processes were just taking too long to complete. So then I moved over to a faster server. Well, I tried moving to a faster server to them, but their marketing team takes, or billing team takes about a day, 24 hours to reply. And they weren't very clear. So I would ask a question and they would just bounce it back to me. You need a faster program. Which one's faster? They would reply, our turbo program. I'd reply, I'm on your turbo program. They reply, which turbo program are you on? And it was like, really? Like, how do you guys screw this up? And basically, I was just a lot of aggravation. So my website was going up and down for a couple days while we sorted that out. So I moved it over to DigitalOcean and set it all up myself. Not because I wanted to. I like hosting things, but at the same time, there's so many things I want to host that, you know, because I have time to host this many things, but now you're adding more things that I am now responsible for. And I don't always want to, for websites, it's too basic and mundane of a task that I don't really want to do. So now the website's moved over to DigitalOcean. It's now hosted by myself on my own server, which may open up some other opportunities for me to play with, but it's working now and I did fix it. So at least the website's back up and running. So that's why it was up and down. We still just haven't fixed the thumbnail. So what spec is my web server? It's a Ryzen system now, I think. Let's look up the processor on it, because that might be interesting. So let's go to... Ooh, I don't have this installed. The switch, watch. Make this bigger so people can see it. We're logged into my web server. I like this tool. It should be on my web server. Because it looks pretty. Yay, look at that. So it is a premium. That's weird. It says DO Premium AMD. I don't know what, it's authentic AMD model is DO Premium AMD. So that's what's, Data Center Opteron. Data Center Opteron? Yeah, I don't know what that means. So that's the processor in there now. 2 cores, man, 2 cores. You guys go visit my website, see if you can get the load up on it, you know, go visit and watch the stuff roll in. Yeah, I think they're masking the processor type. DO is DigitalOcean. Yes, it is on DigitalOcean. For those of you, someone said, is there an open source SAN software? I guess it depends on what you're trying to build. Truenas is open source NAS software, but technically if you start loading things like Gluster and Ceph and make it, you can build a SAN out of it. So it kind of depends on where you want to go with it. So Ceph and Gluster are both open source. So if you're looking for something even more scalable, those are a couple options in there. I do not have videos on it, but you can go Google and there's plenty of videos for it. 45 Drives has lots of videos on that topic. Yeah, they mask it so you can't see stuff, but it works. That's the important part. It's a good working server, and that's the part that matters. Unlike before, where it was not so much a working server. Oh, Kyle's gonna go fix it. Yes, there's a couple of things that we have to find them again. We did the site transfer and something's not SSL, and we just have to find it, which is weird because we fixed that problem before. I don't know if an update broke it or what caused it, but we changed everything so it's HTTPS. But yeah, something is not HTTPS. I just noticed that the other day and I don't know why. So I don't know what's not HTTPS on it. What is a good direct attach storage chassis hardware? There's two of them that I really like. If you're looking for like 45 Drives, their chassis are nice. I'm going to be doing a review on the 45 Drives. So, matter of fact, this is the 45 Drives box that we have sitting right here next to me. That noise you hear, the little bit in screen you can see is the 45 Drives box. So that one is it's not even in. Oh, sorry, I gotta drag it. I'd have to drag it. There's not enough room to drag it over here, and the cables won't reach. We are testing it though. We are starting. We got it all set up, running Ubuntu. That thing's heavy. When you put 14 terabyte enterprise hard drives in, it starts to weigh a lot. But it's over here, and soon it'll be over this way, and I'll do a video on it. But that's not a today project. But yes, 45 Drives makes a really nice physical NAS storage box. Oh, yes, the 0-day exchange. Whew, man. Yes. Yeah, that whole 0-day with exchange is an ongoing disaster. It's not a kind of sorted out disaster. It's an ongoing disaster right now. 45 Drives, yes, you need an OS. I guess I don't know what you're looking for. I don't know. You'd have to, if you're just looking for chassis, I don't know. I've never really looked up who builds them. Like if you want just the chassis where you don't have an operating system, like, just a direct attached storage chassis, someone makes them. I think 45 Drives makes them too, but I don't know. I don't ever look at those. We usually buy, if we get an extra chassis, it comes from the manufacturer. Like Truenas makes chassis, but they plug right into the Truenas box. So we'll get a Truenas box and the chassis with it for expandability. And I think you can do the same with 45 Drives. I'm kind of newer to their product line, so I don't know all of it yet. Did we go cPanel? No, we went, we are going to, we just did it raw. We just loaded Open Lightspeed. It runs on Open Lightspeed for WordPress. We got all the plugins loaded for that. It runs with MySQL in the back end, and it's all done from, there's no cPanel, there's no structure. It's a single server dedicated for hosting my website. That's the only thing it does. I'm not even going to I might host something else on it. I mean, it's got capacity to host more than one site, of course, with the speed it has with the AMD processors and a few gigs of RAM, but I don't know that I will. For now, it's the only website that gets that much traffic is my main site. I might at some point in time, because we have the Lawrence.technology site, which is this one here. We're working on this site. And this is just where all the videos are going to be site. So once this site gets more popular, if it starts pulling too much bandwidth, but one of the goals of this site, it's just a link to all my videos in a blog post and grouping of tutorials. So when I group the tutorials together like this, you can go through and see them, but you don't have to deal with anything else. This was a goal to where I can just link people like, hey, where's all your pfSense videos? Lawrence.technology/pfSense is always where you're going to find the pfSense videos. As long as we're, as long as I'm alive and it's being maintained, I should say. Lawrence.technology/Truenas-tutorials. This is where we plan to keep all the Truenas tutorials as we make them. So this is where I'm going to be building up this site for that purpose. It's been a lot of work, but it's been something we've been working on. Can I use any Intel-based network card to build pfSense? Yeah, look up what's compatible. Most Intel cards work fine with it. I don't remember what the Truenas has. I think they're all, I forget what they're called. They're the external, the name eludes me at the moment. Someone will yell it out in a chat. But yeah, look up what they have on their website. Like I said, I'm not an expert at it. We usually get them as a pair, and I don't have to think about it. Like when someone's saying, I need a storage shelf, they're usually ordering like, 500 terabyte high performance server or more. Sometimes I think, they want a petabyte level or 2 petabyte servers. So they need a whole shelf of them, and they supply all the cables for it. So at that point, yeah. So that's makes it easier. How much traffic does my site get on average? You can probably figure that out. I think, and I haven't fixed all of it yet, roughly 5,000 or 6,000 people a month, maybe more. Let's look. Let's see how many a day we're getting right now. I'm digging up a report real quick while that loads. No, the forums are already on DigitalOcean. I don't have to migrate the forums anywhere. So the forums are, they're their own server, purposely. That's why I purposely want the forums to be their own server. I like things being their own server. Some people go Docker, blah, blah, blah. And I'm always like, eh. Anyways, so here's some stats. And I only turned the stats on, so really only these 2 days. These stats weren't working at first. I couldn't figure out why. But, I guess I get quite a few. So here's 77,000 hits yesterday. So far today, 62,000 hits on the website. And that's hits on the website, not necessarily unique visitors. Oh, wow, I guess there's... So, yeah. Oh, yeah, well, so I guess more than I thought. I just know there's a lot of people coming to my site. So, currently, unique visitors is... as more of you visit the site, this number's going up. These are real time. But I'm at 5,665 in the last 3 days. So, a lot of people visit my site. So total requests so far, 186,000 requests by 5,667 people. Hey, you can watch this in real time. Everyone, go visit Tom's site and you can watch the numbers go up. Because I'll leave this up here for a minute while I say that, because I know there's a delay between when you ask. Worryingly large number. Oh yes, that is the... Yes, there is a substantial amount of hits hitting WP login. That's how you know the website's up and running. So this is just my website, so I think we can just post it here. I don't know if that'll work or not. If you guys can have a link in here or not. It's lawrencesystems.com. Oh, our HT access file is broken. We plan to fix it. I got distracted with everything else I was working on, but yes, we know we need to fix a few things on HT access. I'm aware. We actually have WordFence on there, fixing it kind of on the fly right now. So WordFence, if you try to hammer on that, you just get banned. So WordFence bans people all day long. It watches WP login for me. But I got to put some more site restrictions on that too. It's on my to-do list. Things were on there. This was all done when it was hosted elsewhere. It's gone now that it's there. So WordFence is handling all the security at the moment, and then I'll go back and tune it. I just got busy. I just wanted a website back up and running, and then I'll go back and tune it. Part of the reason I like the website being separate and the forums being separate is if someone does get in the only thing on this server is my website, and the only thing on the forum server is the forums. So there's kind of a, yeah. Oh, yes, the new failed to ban by CrowdSec. Yes, I have that. I've been playing with it. I've been looking at it. I haven't really had time to put it in production yet, but that's really cool. The failed to ban by CrowdSec is pretty cool. That's definitely going to go on there. Yeah, we're going to also look at reserving the website with a few extra features and maybe even a Cloudflare, because as it ramps up, I want it to make sure it's fast, so we might even just integrate it with Cloudflare to make life easier. Oh yeah, I have a lot of other servers that don't. I have a lot of other servers that don't have WordPress on them, but you're right. The WP login gets hammered. My forums is an example of that. I mean, my forums are based on discourse, but the error logs are full of people requesting WP login. Can you advise on SATA port expansion cards for Truenas? Yes, get the LSI ones. Go in the Truenas forums and look up LSI recommended LSI cards. Those are the ones you want. All right, I think I got enough people that visited this. We're at 5, 18,000. I'm watching the numbers roll up. Everyone's slowly visiting the site. Those are bots. Yeah, there's a lot of bots on here. Yeah, I will eventually change the WP login as well. It's on my to-do list. Anyways, let's get the chat back over here where we can see it, and I'll keep answering questions. Yes, I'm aware. I'm the one who tweeted, and I've been watching the development of Invoice Ninja v5. I've actually demoed it a little bit. I don't think it's ready. I'm not ready for production with it because I got to sit down and really go through it. I don't think... it's not that I'm not ready for it. I think I just need to make sure and be careful with it because everything's production right now with Invoice Ninja. And at present, I know we're at like 24,000 invoices and over 6,000 clients in there. So they told me, I actually talked to the developer today. We were just having a chat. And he said that shouldn't be a problem at all, importing them all. I said, great. I just figured I'd ask. So... yeah, that's going to be, it's going to come soon that I'll get it up to date. But what I'll actually do is fork my server, load it, see how it goes, and decide, run them parallel a little bit to make sure everything works before I switch. Because Invoice Ninja handles all of our auto billing and everything else. So we have to be very careful making sure it all works fine and that all the auto billing comes over and all the payment systems and all the invoices and everything come over. So because we have so much in it, I just got to be very careful about all of that. But they've been working on it for a long time. It took longer than they expected to get it done, but hey, so. Why did I choose Lightspeed and not Apache? Because it's faster. Open Lightspeed works substantially faster for serving up WordPress, specifically serving up WordPress. It's actually a cool feature of it is the fact that it works so well doing WordPress. So that's one of the reasons I went with Open Lightspeed. And just some Googling. I have no interest in using OpenSense. I should make a video called that. I have no interest in using OpenSense. That way I can just keep replying that to people. It'll be a short video that says I have no interest in using OpenSense. Can pfSense shut down with UPS? Yes, it does have an ability to do so, but I'm not... I usually don't do it. I just don't have much of a problem on there. pfSense seems to recover well from power outages, so I don't have it set up. Sorry. I know someone will say, but, and I'm like, yeah, I know, I should. OpenLight versus Nginx, I don't use either, so I don't know. For what general use case do you employ SSDs for storage servers? That is going to be for VMs more than anything else. Even all of our VMs run on SSDs. It's just way more practical to run them on there. So if you have virtual machines, run them on SSDs. It's the most practical way to do it. Oh, check the security headers on my website. Yeah, they're probably not set up right. I also not, I should probably, technically, one of the hardening things you should do is remove even what you're doing, like what web server's running and everything else. There's a lot you can do. I just haven't gotten around to doing it, and I probably will move the hosting back over to somewhere else once I figure out where somewhere else is. For now, I know where it is, and it's working, and I don't want to deal with it right now, so I will move it back somewhere else later. I went through, lockdown SSH and lock down the basics, but yeah, I know there's going to be a couple other things like modifying headers and stuff like that to fine-tune it. Rising Gamers, thank you for the $5 donation. Like your content and the first person I ever sent a super chat to. Good guides to adapt NetApp to FreeNAS. Any good guides? I've never tried adapting a NetApp to FreeNAS, so I don't know. My general, if I'm going to build a FreeNAS server, over the last few years, I just been buying, if I'm going to build a used one, I go pick up a Supermicro, and they're one of the cheapest things to do it on. For new ones, we've been using these. I'm knocking on a 45 drive server. It's within reach. 45 drives chassis are really nice, or and we do buy directly from Truenas or IX Systems when we build some of the large enterprise ones as well. So we kind of got a couple options you can go on there. But I've mentioned to people just looking for something cheap and used, go on eBay, type in Supermicro FreeNAS, and you'll find lots of places offering that. So let's see. Which is good for the Iron Wolf or WD Reds when it comes to reliability? I don't know. No, SSH is open on the server. It's just set to root only right now. So, not root, I'm sorry. It's key only. I said root only. That would be bad, right? It's set to key only on my server. So I do know SSH is open. SSH is open on my forums too, if you want to check. So yeah, that's common, SSH being open. I can move it to an obscure port, but SSH being open makes it easy for people to administer things. I mean, obviously the other option is building like a WireGuard tunnel between it, but for now I'll leave SSH. If SSH, if they find a major flaw in SSH that compromises it all, just go home, man. It's going to be a bad day on the internet because SSH is everywhere. Do you have a suggestion for an entry-level server for one Windows SQL VM running XCPNG? I mean, whatever you can afford. Windows SQL is kind of a beast, depending on what's running on it. So I would recommend something fast. Yeah, we will probably filter SSH to specific IPs. I just haven't, like I said, I haven't really gotten around to doing it. It's on my to-do list. We only fixed this just the other day, and then I had to actually do some of the other work that I do. So I was kind of like, it's floating open, and I needed I actually got away without doing it, but I thought I was going to need a friend to log into it too. So I was going to let them log into it. They were willing to help, but then I got busy, and I solved all the problems I was having with it. So now that I solved all the problems, I can probably filter it for just my office IP address. Yep, just lock your SSH to only your WAN IP. Let's see. How big is my to-do list? Oh man, it's longer. Every time I look around me, I see something else, and it just gets longer. Like, hey, I need to do something with this. I need to do something with this. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I bought that because I want to do a video about this. And yeah. The Unifi aggregation switch, it's aggregation in name. I don't plan on buying one. I don't know what to do with it if I bought it. I'm already starting to have a problem right now where I have too much hardware laying around, and I got to figure out what to do with it. And it's like I got just off to the side here is starting to stack up over here. And if I don't have a use for it, I'm kind of like, I don't even know if I want to buy it. And the aggregation switch doesn't offer anything unique. It's the same switch as I have already in the rack over here that I reviewed before, the USG XG16, I think it's called. The only thing different is it's missing the RJ45 ports. And, well, it has less ports. I think it's only got 8 instead of 6 and 8 instead of 12. So there's nothing about it. It's just a 10 gig. It's just a 10 gig switch with 8 SFPs. What plugins do you use in WordPress? We use the video plugin. I'd have to make a list. I'm not a WordPress expert. This is one of the reasons I don't like hosting it. It's not my thing. Whoops, that's the wrong WordPress. Kyle's actually working on it right now, so the website may be different by the end of this. Or at least he said he's working. I don't know what he's actually doing. So here, I'll just show you what's in here because I don't know. I'm using layer slider, slider resolution, word fence. What else is in here? Updates needed. I don't know. It looks like it needs stuff. VFB Classic, slider revolution, light speed. This is the light speed cache. This is part of the light speed hosting thing. So, yeah. I don't know. I'm not an expert on all the plugins. The one that broke, though, and is the... I can't actually pull it up because I know it's got the thing in there, but this is the automatic video one. The problem is if I go in there, it'll show you my API key. They don't hide it. So if you get into if I go into here and click on it, I can't blur out the API key in real time. So there's that. I know it shows as soon as I go in there. So yeah, that's it. Oh yeah, I'm positive they're profiling. They always are. Let's see. Yeah, me and Jay are definitely going to be doing a collaboration. So to kind of get off the website topic, yes, me and Jay are going to be working on some collaborative efforts. We're starting a podcast and doing some things because I don't have enough to do. I'm clearly, you know, I found a free few minutes I can spare. So now we have to work on building that out. So figuring out how we're going to do a whole live stream that converts automatically. Important piece. Automatically converts itself into a podcast. We are building automation around the whole damn thing because that's the only way it really gets done. Like posting all the videos on the website. The same thing that broke my website, the automatic video plugin, literally that's what it's called. The automatic video plugin, if it wasn't for that, the blog post wouldn't exist. So the fact that we've tied these things together is something we're going to work on for the podcast type thing, is how can we have it automatically rip the videos? If someone knows how to do the automation, post it in my forums, or if you can fill out our contact form if you really don't want to use our forums, or you can tweet at me if you know exactly how to build automation to turn YouTube videos right into podcasts. I mean, with automation, that's the key. I want to be able to build it and automate it. And I think Blurberry does it. That's one of the ones I'm looking at. So we might go with that. I don't mind buying a service. That isn't the problem at all. It's just a matter of finding one that's, requires the least amount of input time from Tom. I want to spend time producing content, not actually editing and putting it up together. So we'll record it as a live stream, use some Q&A with people, talk about our project, send it over to a podcast so people can listen to it offline. So what I did to... any tool you can recommend to have a dashboard app? You can look up like PFELK. There's tools you can build, nothing easy, nothing one click, but there's tools out there that you can build dashboards with. I don't use Unraid. People seem happy with it. So if you like Unraid, go for it. I don't have a use case for it. If you need a simple site to hand over to someone for not technical, yes, WordPress is probably your best bet. WordPress has extensive amounts of training. It's just one of those things, like WordPress is as big as it is as a platform, it's easier to get support for. It's easy to find people who can learn on it because there's a lot of documentation for it. So yeah, WordPress is still one of the go-to site systems. I mean, there's all kinds of other static site generators and other CMS systems, but if the learning curve's higher, then it doesn't necessarily serve the purpose. If something, so, this comes up all the time. If you find someone that only highly technical people can use, then you always have to pay the price of highly technical people. If that's fine, if your model scales out that way, that's perfectly fine. Let's see, what else do we have in here? Upgraded my SG3100s. Yes, we've been updating the SG3100s and the problems seem to be resolved. I haven't seen any more problems in there. Yeah, Grafana's another one. There's ways, if you type in like Grafana pfSense, there's a few guides you can find out there to tie Grafana into pfSense. Yeah, WordPress, it's a love-hate relationship people have with it. Is what it is. That's how I feel about it more than anything else. It's like, it's the only way I can come up with without having to, hire a team of developers to automate pulling my videos and putting things together in all the integration level that WordPress supports. It's either, Tom, spend a whole lot of money hiring programmers to write something, hope they write it good and secure, or $10 for a plugin for WordPress. $10 a year. That's all that plugin costs. Yeah, kind of a no-brainer. Sometimes it's just what you end up having to do. I mentioned tablets, though. And so I got one. And this was a stupid problem. And let me explain here. And what happened was I wanted a tablet. But it turns out most of the tablet companies are awful. And what they have done is they give you tablets that just are running Android, and it's really, really out of date. Here's, let me get... Actually, let's pull something up here that looks kind of cool, because there's actually a neat feature of this. Well, one, it has Reddit on there, so there's that. So here's what's so neat about this tablet, that this is a Chromebook tablet. I wanted to buy an Android tablet. Turns out, not easy, because so many of them, I looked at the Lenovo ones, they all ship with like Android 9. And then they have very limited amount of operating system support. So I ended up going with this Lenovo Duet. And I'm actually really impressed with how well it works. Now, one of the reasons I have it is I'm actually looking at you guys through a teleprompter right now. So I wanted to be able to set this on the teleprompter like this and just set it over there and be able to read things off of teleprompter. I'm starting to get to where I put specs of computers on a teleprompter because it's way easier to stare at the camera and read the specs that way. And I also wanted something to be able to sit on my couch and read, but at the same time, I wanted something that could do this. And this is where it gets just really neat. I'll turn it this way because it'll go this way. Now, it does have a keyboard, as you can see. I don't know if this is something I should review or not. But hey, check this out. This is what's really kind of magic to me. Yes, I can control XCP-ng and my VMs from a tablet because it's just a Chromebook with a browser. And if you're wondering how it has access to things, and now I popped the keyboard on, which turns it back into full web mode, and the keyboard's all magnetic, so you don't got to even fuss with it. You're just like, it just goes on. I'm eyeballing it here, and it's just working. So yes, Zen Orchestra from my couch. And if you're going, but how do you handle security on such a thing? And you do it like this. Whoops, that's funny. There we go. It doubled them. Okay, I can show you this screen. That is WireGuard. You can use WireGuard on Android, and this runs Android applications. So WireGuard works technically on Chromebooks that run Android. So this is actually a really great feature. So I can WireGuard this, tie it to my office, and it's really nice. It's actually become very convenient because it has all the Android applications blended in with Chrome, and it sorts out the use case I was looking for to have a tablet that's functional. And someone say, what about a Linux tablet? please note I said functional. I'm a big Linux fanboy who also happens to not be using a Linux tablet because I haven't found one I think is really, really good yet. This is actually good and works. So it works really well. But anyways, this is the Lenovo Chromebook Duet. And yeah, I don't know. It's nice because being able to just pop the covers off. Once you've got this thing naked like this, it weighs very, very little and is very easy to just sit on the couch and fumble around with. And the fact that I can VPN it back to my house, you know, or back to my office. This feels like my house. I'm actually in my office now, but I can sit on my couch. I can monitor things internally, look at, you know, stuff internally, and I'll do it from a tablet. I can even restart a server and control XCP&G and then go back to browsing Reddit and, you know, doing some general reading things. Also, I got my forums on here so I can reply to people on my forums easier. And that's another thing. You know, I try to really keep up with it. And I know last week someone was mad because I didn't reply fast enough to something in the forums, or didn't reply the way they wanted, I should say. But I do spend a lot of time in the forums answering a ton of questions. And I don't mind answering the questions from the couch because there's never anything really good on TV. And I'm usually just watching YouTube anyways. So being able to pull up and type up some answers real quick. And the voice works great. So I hit a button, I speak my answers, I hit send, and now I've replied to people. So pretty cool. It does work pretty well. Yes, it is pretty cool. Technically, it's a Linux tablet. Yes. On that note, that is another feature that they've added to the Chromebooks. And I haven't really done much with it. But yes, it's running a Linux virtual machine on here too. So yes, it does run Linux and terminal. So you can definitely do that. It's actually kind of cool. Actually, did I install NeoFetch on this? I should. Here, let's install that while we're waiting. You can install things just like Linux on here. Just it's Debian based, so you can apt-get install things. STL. I haven't installed Git on here yet either, but I plan to do that. I'll put some Git on here, so I'll be able to have my custom terminal and everything else. So Chrome is Linux based, yes. I can use it while I'm sitting on a Pittsburgh toilet. There we go. This was $249 at Best Buy. I think that's a pretty reasonable price. The battery life on it's really good too. But yeah, like I said, I don't know. I don't know that it needs it. I'm not a person who really reviews Chromebooks. Maybe I'll review the fact that it runs Linux. But yeah. For a tablet, I think 10-inch is fine. Most of the apps seem to make it very readable at that. The tablet is a Lenovo Duet. The keyboard's not bad. The keyboard's got decent travel. The only problem I've run into the keyboard is that the tab key is small. So I press Q a lot instead of tab for autocomplete. There you go. Now I can show this. Put that on there. So that's Debian when you're running it. So yeah, pretty cool. And then you just, now I got an on-screen keyboard. And as soon as you plug in the keyboard, which will do this right here, keyboard disappears and I'm back at a command prompt to do stuff and get work done. Yeah, so it's a pretty neat device overall. I've really enjoyed it so far, more than I expected. Oh, let's see. I can read about all the things that people like to ask me about, like OpenSense and Unraid. Yep. Yeah, it gets the job done. That's the biggest thing about it is it's, you know, like anything else. It's a tool, and the little kickstand on the back is kind of neat the way it pops out like that. It's very stiff. And then the back is just held on by magnets. So you just magnet, closed, portable, easy. I can answer all my, Much of my time is still spent on replying to people's emails. That's actually what it's been used for the most, is just going through and reading all the emails I get and replying to them. That sometimes is just, for the business deals I do, that's where business deals go, and if you don't reply, they'll die there. So you got to keep just pushing and pushing and pushing till you get people to respond to all the messages until you get the email you want. So could you run an SG1100 on PoE? You could probably get one of those. I don't know. I don't know what wattage it uses, but maybe there might be a way to do it. Seems like a bad idea, but why not? Sometimes even if there's not a use case for it, sometimes ideas are fun. So you could probably get one of those PoE Pi Hat things that are usually used for Pi Hat. If you type in like Raspberry Pi USB PoE, you'll get these little injectors that have USB on them, and that might power an SG1100. I've never tried. I don't know if there's enough power in it or not, but that'd be kind of novel. Maybe I'll do a video about that because someone will watch it just because. And that's my only reason I do that, because that sounds fun. I happen to have an SG1100 sitting over on the shelf over there. Back to that, I don't know what to do with all my old hardware. I have an extra server that I don't know what to do with either. But before everyone just starts rushing and going, hey, what, I could use an extra server, Tom. That's actually the problem. It's an older server that has some issues. And what do I do with it? Do I just scrap it? I think it's got like nine 4 terabyte drives in it. So it's not huge, or 2 terabyte drives. I can't remember what size drives are in it now. Anyways, I retired it because I have enough storage. I don't need it anymore. And I got to figure out what to do with all these things. So do I prefer physical or virtual pfSense? Always physical pfSense. Give to my kids to learn with. They have no interest in it, and they can come hang out here anytime. My daughters all have no interest in technology, and my son likes playing video games. That's the extent of his technology interest. Local charities don't know what to do with servers, and the server, this one in particular, has a processor, I think, problem, because it just reboots about once every 2 weeks, whenever it feels like it. You don't know when it's going to do it. You can't make it do it, but every now and then it does it. And so we haven't decided what to do with it. And it's hard to give things away because the shipping on it's like $50, $50 to $100 in shipping just to give it to someone, because it's a full size, full length server full of drives. So it's like kind of I got to figure out how to deal with it. I want to give it away to someone who can use it, but I don't know who that is. And also the shipping sucks, and boxing things up and shipping things is not fun at all. It's just, there's a time suck involved in that. So can you recommend a ticketing system for MSP, self-hosted? Is OS Ticket any good? Big fan of your channel. Thank you very much, Alex. And no, we haven't found a ticketing system we love yet. So I don't know of any. Some people seem to like OS Ticket. I know it's popular, have not used it. There's a lot of, it doesn't, I remember we looked at it and it didn't have all the integration we wanted. And so we are still just using email to handle tickets. We want to get something, but I have to really want to use it. So for now, we just keep using email. Podcast converter server. Yeah, that's going to be a cloud automation tool. That's not something we're going to have locally here. We're probably going to do it through Blurberry for those of you following where I was talking about having a podcast. Me and Jay from Learn Linux TV did a video together, and we're going to be working on some ideas to do a podcast together for talking about Home Lab. How do we run without any kind of ticketing system? You know, I think a lot of younger people must walk through the cities and go, no way they built that building in 1930. No way. How'd they build a big building in 1930? They didn't have a CAD system, a computer system. You can actually, before ticketing systems, we had email. And after ticketing systems, we still have email. So we still use email, and it still works. And we still handle a lot of client action through there. You know, I mentioned one of my videos I did. I mean, just the bookings that we had, not related to existing clients, but, you know, clients from clients in 2020 that were inbound from YouTube, that all came in just off of emails that go into a contact form that went through a booking process and just all communicate through email. 349 unique customers were booked that way. that's roughly a more than, you got to figure if you're only working 5 days a week, that's more than a customer booking a day. You can handle it that way if you're organized. It comes a point where I want to have more, but until I find something I really like, then that's, yeah. Yes, we are going to have dedicated topics with our home lab. That is a thing that me and Jay are definitely going to be doing. Things can fall through the cracks. Yes, if you don't stay on top of them, things fall through the cracks. Yeah, it's funny to watch companies who have a bunch of people working around a broken ticketing system. They're doing it all the time because their ticketing system either is so intensive. You know, I've seen this discussion on Reddit. Someone was complaining that they go around the ticketing system because to solve a problem may only take 5 minutes, but 15 minutes of their time is a ticketing system. So they're constantly going around the ticketing system because it is so convoluted and complex that they literally wouldn't be able to close tickets at the rate. So sometimes you're like, yeah, I'm just going to fix that without going to a ticketing system, because filling out the ticketing system on the back end is now so convoluted. I wouldn't be able to actually get my job done. And so it's trying to figure out the right one. Yeah, OS Ticket, I've seen a few people mention it. I've looked at it. I don't remember what it is we didn't like about it. I have notes where I started taking notes of what we did and didn't like. We may end up going to the SolarWinds one because we're already using SolarWinds and just fully integrate with that. It's expensive, but it works, and it's more integrated into our process of using SolarWinds. So haven't really figured it out. Well, if we were a development company, Jira, Jira or Redmine comes to mind. But when you're not a development company, and end users are the one initiating the tickets, and most of them just want to send an email to you anyways. So that's, you pretty much, yeah. Which, by the way, SolarWinds is now Enable. If you didn't hear the news, SolarWinds MSP broke off and now is a separate company. It's not SolarWinds MSP. They're called Enable now. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I forgot about Taskboard. Taskboard's another pretty cool one. That's a free open source thing we host. We have Taskboard, and we do some of the stuff in Invoice Ninja as well. Yes, the name, if you go to SolarWinds MSP, let's double check the website. I believe, yep. It's official. My head's in the way, but you can see it right here. SolarWinds is becoming Enable. So they're slowly rebranding everything. They were an acquisition anyways. They weren't exactly part of the SolarWinds core. They were something SolarWinds acquired a group of companies and stuck the SolarWinds name on it. It's always been a separate entity, and people didn't realize that the commonality between the company is they share an HR department, and loosely at that. Like they share payroll, I should say, not even HR. They're very different companies. Gibbet, is that the one you said there? Never even heard of that one. That one, at least I could tell you there. Oh, they even offer an on-prem version. So interesting. Part of the reason I didn't like OS Ticket, I do remember at least one thing that comes to mind seeing this. OS Ticket looks archaic. Like when you look at OS Ticket, I mean, maybe I see themes come up, but it didn't feel modern looking. Last time I looked at it, it was very not modern looking. And there's something to be said for good UI design. So yeah, this one maybe we'll take a look at. I'll pin it over here. Jitbit. So 4 agents for $70 a month. That's not bad. 7 agents for $129. Cool. And we'll look at it. It's been on to-do list. Part of the problem, it falls on me to do, and then I like doing other things, so it doesn't get done all the time. sometimes I love owning a business. Other times I don't like running a business. So that, yeah, I'm sure all of you feel terrible for me, right? But I kind of want someone else running occasionally because there's like work to do and I want to play with technology. So yeah. All of our customers use email. Sorry if you don't have an email and want to contact us. I mean, we do for our MSP customers, we accept phone calls, but yeah, people do have to contact us via email. Some people don't like that, but I've had this business for 18 years. 2003 was 18 years ago now, wasn't it? See this gray hair? It's making me forget. It's just all the memories leaking out. Yeah, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Maybe I just need to hire someone to run a business, right? That works out all the time. You could do giveaways. So, yes, I need to figure out how to do them. And the reason I haven't done giveaways is legal reasons. There can be problems, and there's like a bunch of rules you're supposed to follow when you do them. So I want to make sure I stay out of trouble. Oh, send me a fax. Yeah, someone did ask us a while ago. I think it was last year. Someone asked if we had a fax. I'm like, no. Why would we need a fax? I need to hire an MSP to manage my MSP. Not really. I don't know about an MSP to do there, but maybe we need to acquire another company that has some of these things. And if we acquire another company and integrate them into the collective, we'll just Borg cube assimilate them. But we'll also learn from their processes that are better than ours, and then we'll make a better process. We'll become the Borg cube. That's what we should do. Who wants to sell their company to me? Yeah, it's something like that. I think you just have to, like Mac Telecom Network said, it's something like we have to do in a giveaway and say that YouTube has nothing to do with it, blah, blah, blah. So yes, outsource to the sources. Yeah, it's just sometimes maybe I'm just not being mature enough, and I should really sit down and be an adult and just do the thing that needs to be done with the business and organize some section of it. I slowly get there. It's just, yeah. It's just a matter of getting it all done. It's, yeah. Anyways, before I get too off topic on that, wandering about it, because that's the question I posted the other day about, should I, if you follow me on LinkedIn, I think it's right next to the question, or Facebook, about, do I need to hire a social media manager? Do I just handle the social media? Which I like handling the social media. I kind of said, I do enjoy it, but I sometimes have to do lots of business things that stop me from, doing more of it. And if you ask which one I enjoy, because someone's like, well, yeah, just outsource the social media side. One, it's hard to find someone who shares the same voice of the company as the owner does. And also, if you ask me what I would rather be doing, creating videos and playing with technology, or dealing with some type of business process flow, I really don't have any passion, a limited amount of passion for business process flow. I like when it works. I don't always want to be doing it all the time. That's my most honest answer. So anyways, don't count. Hire a social media manager. The challenge, I've thought about it, hiring someone. The value proposition is this: if you want to hire a social media manager, if their output, the money I put into paying someone to do this, would then bring money back in, or bring leads back in, or in some way enhance the channel in a way, then there's value. I don't know that posting on Facebook more, or Twitter more, or LinkedIn more would really help. That's kind of like, I actually I posted that and got some good discussion with friends who work in that industry. And a lot of them don't think that for what I do, doing anything more than YouTube would be that much more beneficial to my company. So there's a lot of There's a lot of that going, yeah, I think that probably makes sense, which also narrows it down to why pay someone to do it when I'm fine with posting on YouTube. And it's not like it's easy to finding someone else to post as your YouTube. That doesn't really work well at all. That's a really challenging thing. Matter of fact, if you listen to the behind the scenes podcasts with different creators, they talk about some of the challenge of YouTube is you become the part of the channel and the channel doesn't easily allow for someone to drop in. It's taken years, and Linus Sebastian has talked about this on, it's called That Creative Life podcast with Sarah Dietschy. Look up that and you'll get some real honest behind the scenes when Linus isn't being goofy and being, the king of the YouTube channel that he is. He talks about the challenges it is of running a YouTube channel and putting more people in place to come and do the content and how it's not that easy. So there's a lot to it. Oh man, there's a lot going on here. Is it me or okay, messages keep coming and going. If you sold the business to me, you'd have twice the trouble. Well, yeah, maybe. Just don't make sure you don't acquire a business where the new people make me redundant. I'm okay with that. Yeah, but nonetheless, it's a lot of thoughts that go into it. It's it's just something I always at least have some strategy session going on in my head of what needs to be done. It's always something I'm thinking about it. What was the web hosting issues topic? You're a little late for that. That topic has been beat up and sent down the road. The website broke. Website moved to DigitalOcean. Website faster now. Still slightly broken, but less broken than before. Still being upgraded. Yes. Now, this is something people have a hard time in business. I've never liked the concept of don't hire people smarter than you. That doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, thank you very much, Janine, Jenny Van der Walt. Thank you for the donation. Following in South Africa, love the content. I think that says Janny Van der Walt. I am not great with names, but thank you very much for the donation. It's much appreciated. Has anything changed in Aruba Incident? No. Aruba Incident only got me more confused, and I did play with it. I did set it up 3 weeks ago, maybe this year. In 2021, I've tested it. So within the last 60 days, I've tested it, and it looked the same as it did before. It's pronounced Yanni. Okay, cool. Awesome. So Yanni Vanderwalt, thank you for the donation. It's much appreciated. I love hiring people that know more than me. That's something, I don't like the concept that people say you shouldn't hire people that don't know more than you. That's not how, that doesn't really work out. You want to always be working on things that take you out of the process. And a lot of people, this is how they get stuck and trapped in their businesses. They never think about taking themselves out of the process. Being a sysadmin and being a business owner, huge amount of parallels. You're trying to build automated systems. You're trying to build automated processes that require very little intervention, so you only manage by exception. Business is the same way. Also, much like sysadmin problems and business problems, people screw things up. And both of them are like, why did people do this? You have now gone outside the process. Now we have to figure out how to get you back in the process. So being a business owner and being a sysadmin, turns out a whole lot of parallels there. Business is also like running one of those real-time strategy games. There's a flow of money coming in. You're always trying to figure out the balance of how much can go out, how much is coming in, and how do I put more workers in processes that will keep the flow of things going, and how can I do this in the most automated way so I can work on the next thing. So yes, there's a whole lot of that goes on in business. I do enjoy that aspect of it. I enjoy putting the processes, and I'm always thinking of ways to not have me involved in a process. That's so many business owners micromanage it, and I've seen some of them micromanage and do well at it. Like they seem to really enjoy the micromanaging aspect of it. good. That seems to be something they enjoy. It is not what I enjoy. When I was in corporate management, I never enjoyed micromanaging anybody. I was the opposite. I was mostly aggravated when they didn't do the thing that were detailed out for them to do. And I realized some people just require constant micromanaging, because if not, they'll not do the thing that was put out in front of them. So it is, yeah. Always work yourself out of a job. Automate yourself out of a job. That's actually where you should go. Because if I wasn't automating myself out of a job, how would I find time to play with cameras and learn how to do YouTube and do live streams every Thursday? If the job required me 24/7 to operate at the level we do, then yes, I would not be doing YouTube. So it's always a process of doing automation to do that. What else do we have in here? Yeah, we're not doomed. So one of the micromanaging. Oh yeah, people don't like micromanaging. They're not good on either way. They're usually unhealthy for the business owner and usually unhealthy for everyone that works there. If you have a micromanager, it's usually not the best situation. Lots of people leave jobs because they're going, yeah, the place I worked, micromanager, not good. Robots will program the robots. You know, it's fun I was up north talking to my dad a couple of weeks ago, and one of his friends, and they're older, in the 60s, and factory workers, so they have a very different perspective, and they always like, the robots are going to take our jobs. But the reality is, we have not seen this. I mean, the Industrial Revolution, if you want to dive into some history, everyone thought no one would be working, et cetera, et cetera. Turns out that it's only those without the vision that can't see what's actually going to happen. It's happened before, it's happened again, and everyone says, but this time's different. Sure, okay. I have jobs that didn't exist before. I'm doing something that wasn't possible before. As technology innovates and produces, some of the mundane things are fading to the past. And everyone goes, oh no, only people made horse and buggies. What will the horse and buggy makers do? Turns out they're going to build something else. And so there are a lot of iterative things that happen throughout history where people do gravitate to the doom and gloom of, oh no, we're all going to be out of a job again. But collectively, the quality of life has continued to improve. If you want some statistical analysis on this, read Steven Pinker's book, Better Angels of Our Nature, if you want like a deep understanding. By the way, it's a huge book. It's really hard to get through because it's really, really packed with data, but you'll kind of get a better idea what we actually, on a human timeline, or even beyond our human timeline, really, several generation timeline, iteratively things do get better. Jobs keep coming up that didn't even exist before, new processes, new technology. So although we may automate some function, it opens up new jobs and new opportunities that you just didn't see coming. So that's my little soapbox rant for that. No, I don't think you're really going to Ansible away Microsoft updates. Evolve or die. Yeah. Yes, the G3 Instant. I've been wanting to do a video review of it. I just been kind of preoccupied with a few other projects. I dove into storage servers for a little while. And because I was playing with so many storage servers, I didn't have time to finish reviewing that. But I'm doing an updated review of the Unifi video platform, including the cameras in the G3 as well. But yeah, the G3 camera is pretty cool. Part of the other reason I kind of waited to review it, it's always out of stock. So reviewing it while it's out of stock makes a little bit less sense. So I was going to wait till it seems to have more availability. Because all it does is make people mad. They go, oh, I ran out to go look for it. I couldn't find it anywhere. And I'm like, yeah, they're out of stock all over the place. They had it limited to like 1 per order or something like that. So it's rough. Would I ever have a degree in cybersecurity? No, I don't think I'm going to. I talk once in a while like, hey, I should get a certification or a degree or some formal education. And that's as far as it goes. Usually it's when someone asks me on a live stream, that's as far as I think about it. By the end of this live stream, I'm not going to do it, and I'm going to forget about it, about being certified for things. Like every now and then I have friends that have certifications, like, I'm going to go do that. And then completely falls off my radar. I honestly, I wouldn't, if you were a betting person, don't bet that Tom will bother getting a certification in anything. It's not likely. Nope, I don't have gigabit at home. I don't even pay for the top tier at home, and because I don't need it. I don't know what I'd do with it. We don't download that much at home. So, I mean, I guess I do once in a while. There's probably some game downloads. My son would want to go faster. We have like a 200 connection at home. We have a 300 connection here. Woohoo! I have decided Jay is better at Ansible. Jay has the most up-to-date Ansible videos. I don't plan to do them because I don't use Ansible that much at all. Jay is much better at Ansible, so the Ansible videos you can find over on Jay's channel. He is better at it, and I don't really have... Phil, who did the videos with me, is just too busy. And Phil's a great person. He's incredibly knowledgeable on that topic, but Phil's also a busy person working in the industry and does not have time to produce videos because he started a family. Learn Linux TV. LearnLinux.tv is actually his website. So it's not just his channel name, it's his website as well. So if you go to, I'll pull it up real quick here. LearnLinux.tv. You can even get Jay's book, Mastering Ubuntu Server. So he has all his videos posted right here. His ongoing series and tutorials. Hey, look, getting started with Ansible. Everything you want to know about Ansible broke down to a series of videos. He's just solid on content for things like that. So yeah. Favorite way to do dynamic DNS and pfSense? I never do dynamic DNS and pfSense. So 362 people watching with only 72 likes. I'm sure someone can bash that like button. Do I know Jay? Jay is a personal friend of mine. I helped Jay. If you watch Jay's earliest videos, I helped him set up his YouTube studio because he used to use my YouTube studio. Jay lives in Michigan as well. He's got his own YouTube studio now, but originally, if you find Jay's old videos, you'll find that he was using Tom's studio. I met him, I don't remember where I met Jay. I'm pretty sure it was PenguinCon. I really feel it was at the PenguinCon event several years ago. I've known him for 4 or 5 years, maybe longer. Yeah, Jay's been doing videos for a little while too, but I started doing them and me and Jay talked about it and I did everything I could. We brought Jay on the Sunday Morning Linux Review podcast, which by the way, I got to publish. We did another episode of Sunday Morning Linux Review finally, but I got to publish it. It hasn't gotten published yet. Reading Jay's latest book now. Awesome. 120 likes. We're getting closer. I do not use Squid Proxy at all because it just creates headaches and breaks websites. Maybe it's gotten better, but every time I've ever used it, it just seems to be more trouble than it's worth. Not a big Squid Proxy fan. It's like, only when people really want web filtering, and even then, we don't use it in pfSense. We usually say, for people who want all the web filtering, we just throw them over to Untangle. Untangle is a better integrated solution for web filtering. That's one of the reasons we're an Untangle reseller. It just works. I don't know. It's one of those things that people ask me so much about doing this or doing that. There are shortcomings of pfSense. One of them is good web filtering and easy manageable web filtering. And someone's like, oh no, you just spend all these hours tinkering with Squid Proxy. I'm like, cool. If you have lots of hours to do it, we don't. We charge too much for the hours. People wouldn't pay for that. See, it's less expensive to go pay for Untangle than it is to pay for our technical time to do it. Is Jay more DevOps and cloud? Yes. Multipath iSCSI. it works. I don't know if that's a question. I don't know if I'm going to do a video on it or not, but it does work. Maybe at some point, maybe I will do a video. It's kind of novel. It has some features that may be interesting to people, but Truenas and XCP-ng together will do multipath iSCSI. I mean, other things will too, but if things I will be covering at some point is doing multipath iSCSI with Truenas and XCP-ng. They do work together. That is a function. What is an easy way to prioritize outbound IP for pfSense? There's not. Go through and build an alias and run through the wizard for the traffic shaping. That's the easiest way to do it. If you'd like to use Truenas and ESXi, have at it. I have zero plans to do ESXi videos. I mean, if you, people ask me about a lot of stuff. I know how to use ESXi. We have clients with it, but it's not my favorite. Therefore, I don't really have an interest in doing videos on it. I don't think there's even a demand for videos on it because I've seen some people do videos on it and they don't have many views. I don't think there's like a big, massive amount of people that are really wanting tutorials on it. That iSCSI layout almost later refers a plan later this month. Yeah, I've tested it. I know it works. I didn't have any problem doing it. Make sure on XCP-ng you do have to turn on multipath on there, and when you turn it on, all the VMs have to be off. FYI, that's the thing. So make sure you have that done. Yes, we do offer some security consulting management services. We have a contact form on our website. Fill that out. I don't use DocuWiki. Local AD or Azure AD? Yes, depends on the client. Let's see, what else we have? Adding a unified cloud key plus a network and a telemetry from Unifi's APs when shutting down my computer. What about the AP? Yes, they have some telemetry on some models. I have a video about that. They do some telemetry stuff. I don't use Nessus or OpenVAS, so probably not going to do... Oh, I can't say I don't use. I do use OpenVAS sometimes. I haven't used Nessus in a long time. OpenVAS is pretty cool. I don't know if I'm good enough that I would do a video on it. I don't know. That could change in the future. That's a maybe. You're looking for a good broker. What kind of broker? What kind of zero trust solution? That's just a buzzword. People asking about zero trust. It's everyone's favorite buzzword, and it's, you got to define exactly what your goal is. So that's my spousal unit is a broker. So if you just have money and you need your money managed, my wife is licensed in a few states to manage money. I don't know how many states I don't know. She's got licenses for managing money. So, and they don't call drug people brokers. Those are called dealers. What else do we have? What do I think about hyperconverged servers? If you need a hyperconverged server, build a hyperconverged server. I do want to do an updated video on Zabbix. The Zabbix we still use it, and it's gotten some updates, so it looks prettier than when I installed it before. It's a whole version newer than the one I installed before. I might do some videos on it. It's kind of been on my to-do list. The biggest challenge of those videos is just how long they take to produce. There's a lot of work. It's just like the Graylog video. I talked about doing it for a long time before I did it because of how long and how much effort there was in hours of time in doing the video for Graylog. There's just a lot to do. And before I did the Graylog video, I actually kept tearing down and building up a server over and over again until I had the process. That's actually how we do things when we want to learn something. And I recommend this process. A lot of people take the time to build it once and are excited, and it sometimes feels like a house of cards. Hey, I did all this configuration. I can't remember what the last command was, but look, it's working. It stood up. Just don't blow any air on it. Don't do anything to make it fall over. I'm happy it's working. I will go through, and others here too, we will build a server, tear it down, build a server, tear it down, build it, reload it, reconfigure it. We just did this with WireGuard several times in several different ways of rebuilding WireGuard. And as soon as you have it working and the pings are going across, delete it, start over. Let's build this again until you're good at it. That's how you get good at these things. There's not really a shortcut. And once you start doing that, you realize it takes a lot of time. I've rebuilt so many ZFS servers and so many Truenas servers. I don't even have to think about doing a video of those. That's why those videos flow out so well. We do so much work with pfSense. That's why those videos are easy for me to do, because I do so much work with pfSense. When it's a one-off, we don't rebuild Zabbix servers every day. I have to go through a few iterations and rebuilding it and tearing it down to make sure I'm articulate at it before I do the video on it. So yeah, that's kind of how that goes. Did I get any more rules for Graylog? No. Didn't do anything more. It's on my to-do list to get back to Graylog and rewrite some rules. For now, for what we use it for, which is just logging, it'd be cool if some of the logs are better parsed, but it's also not as necessary. When I needed to find something the other day, because I was looking for something, I needed to find something by MAC address. So what that it wasn't in a field? I went, boom, put the MAC address in, found exactly what I wanted, and found the log I wanted. So it's actually working. It's not as pretty as a parsed piece of information, but it's also good enough for the use case. So it's on my to-do list, and no one else really reached out that had like a good set of Graylog rules already written. So there it sits. WordPress is one of the most attacked products. Hacked is kind of a different term with WordPress. So there's a ton of WordPress exploits because of all the different plugins that are just broken. So WordPress itself is pretty solid as a base. Then they're very quick to fix all the problems with it. What's not happening quick is the fact that people don't have their WordPress auto-updating, and they have lots of outdated, broken plugins in their WordPress that introduce more security problems. And this is just the fact that WordPress is the biggest kid on the block. They now host the majority of small business websites are all done in WordPress. It has an absolutely incredible install base. With an install base, any small flaw is now amplified by number of install base. Therefore, it can seem like it's in the news a lot. It kind of is in the news a lot, but yeah. If you keep it up to date, it's pretty good. Use Elk if you like Elk. I didn't like Elk as much. Are we talking about the lack of logs and WireGuard? That's a different topic altogether. Yeah. It's the lack of logs and WireGuard is definitely... as Eric will tell you, me and Eric were working on, me and Eric and Steve we were playing out some fun scenarios with WireGuard yesterday, but the lack of logging in it makes it just so much more challenging to do. There's just not much about it. It's so quiet of a protocol. That sounds nice until you actually have a problem with it, so. How do you secure LAN ports? You can turn them off. You can lock them to MAC addresses. There's lots of ways you can secure LAN ports. You can turn off DHCP. You can implicitly allow only certain MAC addresses through DHCP. Nope, don't have any favorite solutions for analyzing NetFlow. Yeah, Tailscale is kind of neat. I've looked at I don't use Tailscale. It's a neat solution. I'm aware of Tailscale, but it's not something I actively use. It's also not a free product. I mean, I think they have a free tier, but it's a proprietary paid product. Hey, look, it's Netgate. They're back. So we have about 20 more minutes. We're going to keep going, and yes, Netgate can chime in here. We can ask Netgate questions. So, howdy Netgate, welcome to the channel. 8021X, says David G. says. That's actually the standard for locking the ports down. Any big storage projects on the way? Not that I'll be doing videos about. Wiki.js is neat. Wiki.js, though, I played with it. I actually set up a Wiki.js server, and there's some quirkiness about the way I couldn't figure out exactly how to get it to flip back and forth between editing the raw page versus editing the WYSIWYG page. It's neat, but not. I didn't feel as good as the standard wiki. I don't know. Yes, WireGuard is production. So WireGuard is now integrated into pfSense, and so the one thing about the in Netgate, because they just joined, so we can bring it up again. Do you have home users as clients? Kind of. It depends. Home users is a fuzzy term. So we have some people that work from home that are technically businesses. I mean, whatever, we'll help people. If you can pay our rates, we can help you. Go to lawrencesystems.com/hire us. It comes down to people just want to sometimes be maybe a home user, which is fine. But we've had, like, I helped this person with a house built into the side of a mountain. I guess, are they a home user? Their house was several million. Should I disqualify? It gets really fuzzy very quickly. I don't really try to distinguish between home users and business users. There may be different use cases, but if someone wants to buy time from us, then we will consult with them. That's generally, and if it's a solution we can provide. So yes, fill out the Hire Us form. That's how that works. Anyways, WireGuard. So let's see. IPsec or WireGuard. I think I like IPsec. I still like IPsec, but I think WireGuard is kind of a better replacement for it. That's where WireGuard does shine. It seems to do that. One thing about WireGuard is, oh yeah, Eric's chiming in about home users and HA systems. That we've actually done. We've had home users that we built HA systems for. Make the check payable too. Yes, it's kind of our, yeah, if you want to hire us, you can hire us. Anyways, the WireGuard challenge, though, that we've run into is just, it doesn't necessarily give you an answer. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I could be wrong and we have an expert in the channel that may have an answer. Is there some way to see when a handshake failed in WireGuard? Because that's been where we don't necessarily, we know it doesn't connect, but it doesn't always tell us why it didn't connect. And that's one thing with WireGuard, it's been a little bit more challenging, is if there's any problems, and there hasn't been too many, but it doesn't give you a whole lot of detail. There's not any real logging going on to say when, the kernel that I could find doesn't dump a log of when each handshake occurred. It does produce your normal firewall filter log rules, but I didn't see anything in the kernel like each time a new handshake occurred. Is there a way to do that is probably the question. So I don't know if Netgate has an answer for that right now. Well, WireGuard doesn't exactly do handshakes, but it kind of does. It still has to send the packets and some answer should come back. And that's, that's the part we're looking for. Like if it just said host did not answer or something like that, it might be kind of helpful. It's kind of an unusual thing because it's just, there's so little going on in, actually, I'm trying to find something here because if I pull WireGuard up on this, one thing that does happen, see if I can find it in here. Yes. So if you look at the debugging logs, how they look inside of the Android one, it kind of gives you at least some insight about what failed, could not resolve. It gives you just some basics. It can't necessarily tell you everything, but it does give you some of that. So there is a little bit of logging going on when you use the WireGuard Android one. That is actually more than you get when you have it inside of Linux or there. I don't know that there's that much more you can do. So it's really tricky. The other problem is, like the WG show showing who's connected, even when the connection goes away, because of the way it shows it, this is a WG show. It's not a Netgate problem. This happens in Linux. It's just part of WireGuard. WG show just keeps showing you the last connection. So until you restart the WireGuard service, it shows last connection in. So you really don't know if anyone's online. Now you can use Gateway Monitor in pfSense to send a ping to the gateway. That is a pfSense facility that does work with WireGuard. So that's a that's at least something that you can do to understand if the gateway's up. Now, here's one of those side notes. If you're doing a system with a series of peers, you have to pick which one of those peers you want to monitor, if you want to monitor, because it's only going to ping one of them. You don't ping ranges of them, and it doesn't list out all the peers of which ones are up. And so if you're doing a site-to-site where there's only going to be one peer, great. If you're doing a site-to-multi-site and you're trying to integrate them all into one tunnel, hub spoke style, then you're going to pick one of those peers for monitoring. And my advice would be to set it up with multiple tunnels. That way you can monitor every tunnel at each site that's connected. That might be the best way to do it. So there's some nuance to it. Yeah, the wording, yes. I did a couple WireGuard videos, and I probably still need to do at least one more for site to multi-site to clarify about how the networks are pushed. Now, my site-to-site video covers that, but it gets a little bit more complicated when you have site-to-site-to-site. And then there's the different layouts, whether you want to do hub spoke or create routing rules between them. There's going to be more to it. It just becomes a little convoluted. So once again, this is why we tear these down, rebuild them, until we have a really good understanding of them, and then I can do a video on them. It just takes time. WireGuard is kernel driven with the Cha-Cha Poly, if I got it right. I know there's a number after it, I don't know the number, but it's the Cha-Cha Poly. So that's the combination of encryption they use. And that I know of, there is no hardware optimization. There's no specific, I don't think there's specific optimization chips for those right now, because it works fast on general use processors. I could be wrong about some of that. Someone may correct me if I'm wrong on, but I thought the advantage of Cha-Cha is it works across lots of different processors. Yeah, Cha-Cha 20, but it doesn't need a specific crypto chip for it. We put together spreadsheets for QBR. When is a Truenas video coming? I already have a few of them out. I just haven't had more of them out. It's on my to-do list, maybe in the next month. Probably in the next month, I'll do like a full top-to-bottom Truenas video. I've already done a series of different functions of Truenas, but I need to do the top-to-bottom video. Oh, let's see. And I want to mention this just in general. Sometimes people ask me kind of unusual or esoteric questions that are probably even better asked than the Netgate forums. Please take the time to read through the Netgate forums. They're very active. There's a lot of really smart people there answering stuff. And matter of fact, I've been directing more people because with the latest pfSense 2.5, some of them aren't, they're kind of unusual questions that I never talked about, and the questions are better asked. And I'll tell people that if they ask a question in my forums that I think are better suited towards the Netgate forums, I'll send people over that way. So hopefully that makes sense there. I'm going to keep this going for about another 10 or 15 minutes. What other questions do people have? And what questions do you have for Netgate? They are here. We need more likes so we can get them to show up again. I think that's the unwritten deal that we have here. DHCP servers are not locked to interfaces. DHCP servers are locked to subnets because that's how DHCP works. You put the DHCP server on a subnet, not on an interface. You may tie a subnet to an interface, so it may feel that way, but technically you could take and group interfaces together and bridge them. I don't really recommend it, but it is a function that is within pfSense to bridge two ports together, so you could bridge two interfaces together. But yeah. Hot sauce update. Oh yeah. Hot sauce. I have some Last Dab, and it's good. I will pull up the picture of it because I don't feel like going over to the fridge. But we actually got a box, and this is a question for people. Let me find the box. We actually got a few new hot sauces. So we have the new Last Dab, Classic Hot, and Las Calientes. Really good sauces here. I really like them. And they came courtesy of the Heatonist. I don't know who sent this. This is a mystery. The box showed up with the hot sauces in it, these 3 sauces. I'm excited to have them. They are really tasty. I don't know who sent them. There's no note in the box. They're mystery. They were ordered directly from the Heatonist website. The Last Dab, this new version of it, really good. Definitely loved it. But mystery. I don't know who. I actually don't know who sent that to me. But thank you for. If you're one of the people that did, let me know. But yes. There were some minor issues with upgrading to 2.5. For the most part, they have been solved. Yes, we have some Jamaican sauce too. Yeah, the 2102_1 fix is the update that fixes problems that were out. So technically, if you're updating now, you shouldn't have any issues. So Unifi 6.1 is not in production. I'm waiting until it's in production to do a video because what's in beta doesn't always make it to production. So I won't be doing a video until it's in production. I don't like doing beta videos. There's other people doing them. Have at it. I think I've seen a few people cover it. That's great. I think Willie did a video. I think Mac Telecom Networks did a video. Willie Howe, I think, did one. I could be wrong, but I mean, maybe I'll do one, but I doubt. Have I checked out Netbox? I don't have a use case for it. Netbox looks neat. I don't use it. Maybe one day. Right now, I don't have a use case for it. I did see they added multi-WAN IP. I know that's why people are asking about it. Dorian, thank you for that donation. Awesome. Dorian Woolger. Thank you for the great content is what that says. Awesome. Hey, and cool, you guys can see it too. Okay, so it is. Oh, it is in general release. So, okay. So, Mac Telecom Network said it is in release for the UDM Pro. I have a UDM Pro in my rack, and as I say, I usually just plug it in so I can get disappointed. Yeah, I think it's silly though to me. In 2021, people are excited because a product supports multiple WAN IPs that claims to be enterprise router. I'm like, really? What else is exciting? Does it route? I mean, it feels kind of sad to me that it took this long. Like, it's a disappointing product. I mean, it's some of the most basic functionality is just missing from a product that's been released now for a little while. I don't get it. Like, that's why I said I keep it so I can plug it in and be disappointed by things. And it's like people getting excited the fact that they offered multiple WAN IP. I'm like, the ship sailed so long ago on my desire to use that product for a firewall for routing. It's like, yeah, I don't think you should have. When Unifi started producing routers, multiple WAN was available, I believe, in OpenWRT. Like some of your most basic firewalls have supported it forever, and Unifi not only didn't do it when they started, it became a feature request joke for 6 years before they got around to it. Like, I don't get it. This is a common thing where people assign multiple IP addresses. This is not like an unusual edge case at all. So, yeah. How do I deal with work stress? How do I deal with work stress? One, I try to reduce having stress at work. Because when your workday is doing goofy things like this, I'm not exactly sure how stressed I am at work. I don't have a ton of work stress. That's the first thing I will at least say. I do have this on my face, but that wasn't stressful at all because I put it there. But how do I deal with it? I do occasionally not work though, but I love what I do. So I don't take too many breaks from what I do. When I do take breaks from what I do, I'm usually doing this. I go out and ride my motorcycle out in the woods. So that's one of my non-techie things. I don't think this is technical. So riding my motorcycle, non-technical, that's, I guess, how you could say I reduce work stress. It's just how I do something that's not work. Yeah, multiple WAN was available in the Cisco since the 90s. And it's supported on their edge router. Here's the weird part. Their edge routers being, built by the same company. Granted, there's some similarities even that I think they based it off Vios. I know the edge was, but I think some of the Unifi early stuff was, but somehow they didn't do it. I don't know. My router at home is an SG2100. That's what I'm using at home. Tom rides motorcycles. Alien or Predator? Ooh, I don't know. I love the very first Alien. That's one I remember liking. I don't remember any of the ones after. I only remember the very first one. Did you buy or build wall mounted? We built everything. If you follow my office tours, I have a link to the IKEA desk, that we use, IKEA cable tops that we used, but it's all self-built. 167 likes and 326 concurrent viewers. I say we need more likes. Any recommendations on how reliable low power HD suitable for ZFS? Not really. I haven't researched that. Hello from Ireland. Yeah, I've heard the Unifi APs are based off DWRT, but the USG I think is some type of hacked up version of Vios, but I don't know that to be certain. I've seen people mention that, so. The very first Alien was so good. I remember that for sure. What other off-topic things do we want to know? Oh, probably the other thing I do. Like, I have more than one motorcycle, so this is, I also really like old Hondas. So I'm down to only having one. I sold the other one, so I do play with, I go out in the woods and play with this is a 1970s Honda motorcycle. I do like the old Hondas as well. So that's one of my other stress relief things. Seems we're asking off-topic stress relief. It just popped in my head. Well, actually, what I did was I typed in motorcycle into my photo search and found all the motorcycle pictures I have. So. What else do we have? I don't really use, so Starlink doesn't interest me, and there's enough people doing videos on it. So I don't plan on doing any Starlink videos. I don't have a use case for it. We have a fast internet. Starlink is reasonable. I think it's cool, and everyone's like, hey, you could do cool videos on it. And I'm like, Chris from Crosstalk's rocking out videos on it. Yes, that's a Honda Trail 90 for someone asking. That's 1972 Honda Trail 90. Coffee or tea? Yes, I like both. Have I driven into a tree yet? On occasion. It has happened. I have hit many things over the years. I've been riding since I was 7, 8. I don't know. I grew up on a farm, so I've been riding motorcycles for a very long time. I grew up on a farm and learned how to operate tractors and heavy equipment. My life is different now, but yes, so that's a thing. Sometimes my wife goes riding motorcycles with me too. I was seeing I had a picture of me and her being out and about somewhere. I don't know where it went. Her playing on her phone. Wife playing on her phone while we're out motorcycling. That's her motorcycle back there. She's got a Savage 650. Anyways, all right. Back to whatever we were talking about. Not having stress at work. Oh, I learned something too. Here, I have a Tesla as well. So my son was playing Polytopia because now you can play games while you're driving in the Tesla. And so that's fun. You can play games while you're driving. And, well, I'm driving. Well, the car's actually, I'm not even driving. The car's driving over a 2-lane bridge. You can see the autopilot is turned on. It's really close to this railing over here, but the Tesla's gotten amazing. I am going to do a video. A lot of people have asked me about this, about doing an updated video of my Tesla. And my son was playing with my phone, taking the pictures. And yeah, just chilling and driving here. And it's pretty amazing just how well it works for doing this. It's pretty wild, just that whole thing. So let's see. What else do we have? Car sickness accelerator. The car can run games and drive at the same time. I use YouTube. It used to be called Google Music. It's shifted to YouTube Music now. It's the same. It comes with my YouTube subscription that allows me not to have ads on YouTube. I do pay for that, and it comes with music as well. I don't need Starlink for backup internet because we have so much internet here that's faster for less money, so I don't really want to spend the money on it. But can my car run Crysis? That is the question. Yes. Let's see. T-Mobile 4G, whatever, is still... There's a lot of things. Oh, we actually have two different cable providers and 2 fiber providers that will reach this build. 3 fiber providers think that'll reach this building. So, yeah. Yep, YouTube Premium, no ads, and music included. Dude, it just works. The ads on YouTube are terrible, so sorry for all of you that have to watch them. YouTube Premium is one of those things I'll say is worth it, because last time I looked, or when I do see ads, they seem very repetitive. They don't seem to have, maybe it's changed a little bit. It's been a little while since I've seen an ad on YouTube, but the ad rotations seem pretty limited. Therefore, you get to see the same ad a lot, and that became not good. Oh, people wanted to know what I watch on YouTube. I actually have that list. We made that list here. So that was, I can pull up my YouTube and look at my subscriptions and then cast them back there, right? You know, can you screencast this whole thing? I haven't even tried that at all. Can I cast the screen? That does, oh, it is. Oh, that's cool. I didn't think about this. I can actually cast what's on my screen. Neat. Subscriptions. What does Tom watch? You'll actually just see a bunch of cooking channels behind my head now. SciShow, BigClive.com. Jordan Keys is kind of cool. Occasionally I do watch some Philip DeFranco, not all the time. Hacksmith. What else is in here? Yes, Linus Tech Tips. He's in there because people always ask me, did you see the latest Linus video? And sometimes I'll say, if it's something interesting, I may watch it. I subscribe so it shows up on my list, but he only releases a video a day, so it's not like it clutters my list. Then we have, this is one of them, Adam Raguso. Oh, I watch a lot of cooking shows, and the Adam Raguso stuff is amazing. He's really good at doing cooking shows. So I do end up watching, and I'm trying to see if maybe we'll focus back there. Well, the camera's not going to refocus to the back, but you can see all the cooking show stuff and how it's red at the bottom. That's because those are all the ones I actually watched. If you go to the Linus channel, they're not red at the bottom. I sometimes watch like the first 30 seconds of Linus. Is it interesting to me? Maybe, maybe not. And then, yeah, binging with Babish. I've binged with Babish. You Suck at Cooking. Oh, You Suck at Cooking's great. I love that channel too. And if anyone can recognize, obviously I follow this one. You can probably even recognize it from the blurry thumbnails, but it's the Everything by AVE blog. So these are, here, we'll just show these ones. Everyone recognize that. Yeah, AVE blog is great. If you're not familiar with his stuff, learn how things chooch, love it. I will say, I can't say what he usually says because he says a lot of things that get your channel demonetized, and he does not care. So those are some of the things that I watch on YouTube. Let's see. Yeah, AVE is just hysterical. He's my favorite Canadian for sure when it comes to YouTubers. I mean, him versus Linus, he wins all day. I'll watch his content all day. He's just great. I think it's cool that I didn't realize I can cast the screen perfectly fine. That brings an idea in my head. Now I can actually do stuff from this. It's pretty responsive too. So now I can actually do things from this and cast it and input it to OBS if I wanted to do a video on what this tablet looks like. So that's actually kind of cool. Eli, the computer guy. He started out as a guy who did a lot of videos on teaching things, and he just seems to rant about things now. I don't know, that I am not interested in watching people just kind of rant about things. There is a genre of that seems to proliferate on YouTube that is enjoyed by many people. I am not among them. Keeping IT simple. I have talked to him a couple times. He seems like a pretty nice guy. He does a lot of Cisco videos, which I think is great. Yeah, Eli just seems like this grumpy person who's angry about things and ranting about them. And I'm like, I don't watch that content. Like, to me, there's people like to commiserate around that. Like, oh, look, someone's ranting about how awful the world is, and let me join them and comment too on how awful the world is. And back in my day, it wasn't awful. Okay. I usually, if I even have in my personal life people doing that, I very much push them away from my personal life. If they just want someone to commiserate with, it's not going to be me. Yeah, it's fine if you want to do that. Chris Titus is a nice guy. He's built up quite a following. He's got some good videos and stuff. But nonetheless, oh, someone says they're upset because the reseller program said make lots of money. Salespeople say that. That's life. They're usually selling to people that want to hear that. You're going to hear that from every reseller program, not just Huntress. I seen you said it. The reality is the majority of people that run MSPs, some of them I don't even think are in it at all because they like technology. Many of them are in it. I've really got this impression from at least a few of them. They're really in it for the money and to soak up all the sweet, sweet dollars they can make in the tech market. Therefore, when people are pitching reseller programs, they generally lean towards, talking about ways you can monetize it. So it is what it is. That's the world we live in. Well, we all don't like salespeople to some extent. At some point, though, we have to sell things, or I can't buy tablets and laptops and $4,000 with the camera sitting right there that make YouTube content happen. So, yeah, there's the reality of it. You know, Crosstalk Solutions, good channel. 8-Bit Guy, yeah, I've watched a lot of 8-Bit Guy. And one of the other people that turned out that I've watched, I think, on pretty much most of the videos on his channel now over time is Technology. Hold on, let me pull it up because I got to remember it. But, well, I'll pull it up here so I can share it. But it's the Technology Connections. Oh, and by the way, we'll just pull up he's the toaster guy. That's where it all starts. It all starts with because he's the toaster guy. And so you start with the toaster guy. And you wouldn't think a video on toasters would be something you want to watch. It turns out it is really good to watch it. So yes, I definitely watch a lot of this guy's videos. He's great. Follow him on Twitter as well. He shares my love of puns. And I've retweeted some of his stuff. But Technology Connections, absolutely great channel. He dives deep into technology of a lot of what sound like mundane devices. But yeah, definitely a great channel. Wendell from Level 1 Tech says, oh, I love his Level 1 Linux. I don't follow anything if he talks too much about graphics cards and gaming. That part interests me a little bit less. But overall, Wendell's great in... he did a good dive into ZFS. I sometimes am shocked at how few views some of those videos get. I'm like, this is really solid content on this. I've met Wendell in person numerous times. Great person, in person and on YouTube. Yes, Technology Connections and his 80s sitcom style music. Love it. Aging Wheels. I don't know why. I really like the Aging Wheels guy too. His channel is entertaining. Even my wife has watched it and she likes some of the Aging Wheels stuff. Yes, Electro Boom is fun. EPOS Fox. Absolutely. I know how much I know about OBS and Streamlabs because of EPOS Fox. He is absolutely just well knowledgeable. My Playhouse is kind of cool too. I've watched a couple of videos. I don't watch all of them, but he certainly dove deep into a lot of servers at My Playhouse. That's a pretty cool one. Yeah, administering Microsoft licenses. Craft Computing. I've done a video with Craft Computing. I've wore his shirt, not today, but I've wore his shirt a few times. And, but yeah, Craft Computing, great. Uncle Joe, yeah, he's got a few good videos too. There's a lot of people out there creating content. I don't follow Network Chuck. Network Chuck is nothing against the guy. It's just not. He's good to get people started, I think, in tech. So if you say, I don't know where to start, Network Chuck has all this get excited about videos. That's fine. That's great. There's people who they've never dove into technology and get excited about it. And he talks about get certified now, and that's fine. That's not content I find interesting. So I want to know how something works in depth, in detail, you know, like more how the content I create. So if you watch like the toaster video by Technology Connections, he dives very deep into how that toaster works. It's a long video. I like doing long, in-depth technical content. So I do that. Network Chuck gets you excited about technology, but does not do the in-depth explainer on there. So that's not something as interesting to me, but also some people, some people will watch it's funny the comments I get on some of my more technical videos, like I don't think they've ever really understood what an operating system is, but they've watched an in-depth video and they'll ask some really basic questions. So how do I load Windows on it? How do I get this running? How do I get pfSense running on Windows? Like and I'm like, well, you run a virtual machine. What's a virtual machine? What's a hypervisor? All right, you're going to have to start somewhere more basic and bring your way around there. So it's, you know, it's just not the kind of content that I'm going to watch because it's much more basic. but it works for a lot of people. He's got a lot of subscribers. There's a funnel, I guess you could say. People who have less technology and are getting started, they get a little further down, and they want to eventually they whittle down to a smaller audience base for the deeply technical, because some people, they only go so far and they go, this is as much as I want to understand about technology. This is my happy spot. That funnel gets smaller and smaller to eventually landing on assembly language, I think. If you made videos about assembly language, you'd have a really small audience. There would be an audience, but it would be even narrower. So, yeah. Tech lead. That sounds familiar. I might. I don't know. I think he was a teacher on CBT Nuggets, but yeah. Tech lead sounds really familiar. I think, doesn't he do all the Raspberry Pi stuff? I'm sometimes really bad with names. Some people's names I know, then other ones I've just forgotten. If you say the video he did, I probably remember who Tech lead is. Let's see. Oh, Tech lead is the millionaire guy. No, I didn't find his content was, I watched a couple of his videos. I didn't see the appeal. He seems to talk more about business and stuff and development. So yeah, I don't think I didn't find to be as interesting. I've seen a lot of people recommending and he's got a lot of views. The content seems fine. It just wasn't interesting to me, and because it's not what my goal is. Lock-picking lawyer. His latest one where he used the pulse thing to create the EMF pulse to reset the lock. Lock-picking lawyer is great. That's just a fun video. DSLR video shooter. I learned a lot from that. I used to be a photographer, and I did learn a lot through DSLR video shooter and doing some of the understanding, I should say, more in depth. Some of the cameras and some of the options. Also, the DSLR video shooter is the reason I bought the teleprompter setup that I have. Gerald Undone. I know I've watched it, but I can't remember what else. I can't remember why. Yeah, there's a handful of different car ones. The car ones are the people I don't remember their names. I sometimes, because I skip through them, I don't always watch the full content. But there's occasionally be different car ones that I get a kick out of, and I'll watch like just a piece of it. I don't go as in depth in those. It's the same thing. It's the, I don't know who does them, but if you, Doug DeMiro, Doug's memorable. I do like some of his quirky car reviews. Supercars are kind of cool. I like when he reviews the really one-off unique cars. That's when Doug DeMiro shines. I disagree with Doug DeMiro on his latest video on GM Super Cruise. He claims that Super Cruise is better than Tesla, and I don't agree. And it's not just because I'm a Tesla owner. It's because I don't think it's better. Like, even his video doesn't make me think it's better. The only thing I think is cool is the fact that it's doing eye tracking versus making you touch a steering wheel. I think that's the only thing that makes it cooler, that aspect. But the overall, I don't think is as cool. But either way, I do like Doug DeMiro, even if I don't agree with him on that particular video he just did. Oh yeah, Dave's Garage is the guy with the task manager. I've seen his videos. They keep popping up on my feed. I actually haven't had the time to watch those yet. ETA Prime. If you're into any of the retro gaming and reviewing some of the hardware on there, the ETA Prime is just, that's a really good channel for that. He's really great. There are, you know what, this is why I don't really watch TV that much. I just really watch YouTube. YouTube, to me, is better. Matter of fact, Alton Brown. Alton Brown, while they were waiting to produce the new version of his show, he did his own show. His show was better, I think, than his Good Eats. Now, I haven't seen the new Good Eats, but it's overproduced and all the shenanigans. I like the underproduced Alton Brown, where I got to really feel like I'm interacting with Alton Brown and the way he is. I think that's one of the things that people are missing. So much of TV becomes this overproduced laugh track and all this extra inserted, and people really just want some engaging content from people. And I think it's a better way to do it, like to just put it on YouTube like that. But I don't know, whatever works. Running a busy MSP and making content, I don't know, it's some balance. So figuring out how to balance everything is not easy. I'm not good at it. I just happen to produce a lot of content. But actually, speaking of balance, I've been doing this for 2.5 hours. Just about, almost. Or wait, no, 2 hours right now, because I started at 4:15, so 2 hours and a few minutes. So I'm going to start wandering off. Is there any final questions? Because we're just talking about YouTubers. We're way off the topic of technology, but I guess YouTube, and we're talking about technology YouTubers. So anyways, I do want to go and do something else. So I can't think of what that is at the moment, but I am going to do something. I think I'm just going to go home. I think I'm done with projects here. One of the longest vlog Thursdays, they've been about 2 hours each time, the last few times I've done them. So go home and eat hot sauce. Go home and watch PewDiePie. PewDiePie. He's still around, I think, right? He's got some incredible number of subscribers. I don't know. Hot sauce time, dinner time. Go chill out, play video games or something. Play with firewalls. I haven't figured out what I'm doing. I've been trying to play video games. I didn't get into that topic, but trying to find video games. So thanks everyone for watching. Head over to the forums and all that fun stuff. I may even be replying to you on the forums with this little tablet here while I'm sitting on my couch and all that fun stuff. Hit the like button. 199. Can we get it to 200? Can 200, 200, 200, 300, 300, 300 likes, 300 likes? No, we down to 271 people. Oh, we got 201 likes. All right, that's good enough. Woo. Record views on that show too. Yeah. All right. Thanks everyone. Awesome.